On today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Diamond Select Marvel Select Ultron Special Collector Edition action figure. Ultron comes included with a highly detailed base. This comes to us from the good folks over at Diamond Select Toys. Obviously, with the news that Avengers 2 will be the rise of Ultron, so I was looking forward to picking this up and reviewing it. On the side of the package, there's a picture, a really neat picture of Ultron. I'm curious to know how he's going to be interpreted in the movie. I think they're going to do a really good job on him. I'm not sure how Thanos is going to be incorporated, but nonetheless. On the back of the package, a couple other figures that you can get from Diamond Select. You can pick up the Marvel Select Green Goblin, as well as Colossus. Two figures that I haven't had a chance to pick up yet, but certainly would love to pick up. Down below, if you want to check out more from the folks over at Diamond Select Toys, you can go to www.diamondselecttoys.com. You can also go to marvel.com if you want to check out what's going on from the folks at Marvel. And the read-up, along with a nice picture on the side of the figure. The read-up says, built by scientist and Avenger Hank Ant-Man Pym to be the ultimate android, Ultron quickly became self-aware thanks to the gift of Pym's own brain patterns, but also fell in love with Pym's girlfriend, the Wasp. After he was rejected by his, quote, father, Ultron directed his ire at the Avengers, first through pawns like the Masters of Evil and the Vision, then face-to-face in his newly indestructible adamantium body. Ultron is effectively immortal thanks to his virtual storage of his personality files, and he is constantly upgrading his systems, which means the Avengers must remain ever vigilant for his return. That's a really nice write-up of Ultron. What Spot's going to do is he's going to take a break. I'm going to get this open up, and certainly when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the evil Ultron. Don't go anywhere. There's more to come. Featured on the wreckage display base that comes included with Ultron, if we look all the way down there, we got Hank Pym, Ant-Man, and on the other side, we've got the Wasp. The detail on the base is quite nice. We have some blocks, some debris. I also see some arrows here. Perhaps that could be from Hawkeye. There are two pegs to accommodate Ultron. There's the bottom of the base and everything. One thing I really like about the Marvel Select Toys is that the bases are always really, really nice. And two, that it's not a large base either. It's just enough to accommodate the figure, which is good because if you collect a lot of these like Spot does, unfortunately, when you put them on your display shelf, or when you put them out, when you get a really large base, you can only accommodate so many figures. So I like the fact that it's a big enough display base to house Ultron, but it's not too big that it's going to be taking up a lot of space. So it's kind of a win-win for me. But a really, really nice piece, just the base alone. Putting that down, having a look at Ultron, I'm really happy with what they did with this figure. For starters, he's coloring-wise, he's a standard silver, and then he's got some nice black panel lining making out the rest of the details on the figure itself. One thing I really like about the figure is the fact that he has a very comic book feel to him. Ultron has had very many incarnations. I know when I was reading a lot of comics back in the day when I was younger, I remember Ultron having so many different designs and so many different versions of himself where he had different looks. This particular Ultron screams to me a really comic book feel of Ultron. It's simplistic, but I like the simplicity in the fact that it represents Ultron as the very core essence of the character. It's not super advanced looking. It kind of just has that real comic book feel to it. Obviously, the coolest aspect of Ultron is his face. I always thought Ultron had a really neat face. He's got these kind of side antennas. The eyes were always one of the things that I remember from Ultron too. One thing I would have liked to have seen, perhaps with the figure's inclusion, or included with the figure, is perhaps some fire, or not fire, but like some light up, a piece that you had added to the mouth, something that could have projected itself outward, something along those lines, but still I'm very happy with the figure. You can see that he's got some spikes along the shoulder of his torso. Again, the black panel lining. Paint is very clean on the figure, which is nice. Some panel lining down below there. It's remarkable how just taking the core essence of a silver standalone color, I mean there's really no additional washes to the figure itself, but by taking a core color like the silver and then just by simply adding the black panel lining, how you get a really dynamic looking figure. I suppose if anything there's just a little bit paint, mess there, but overall for the most part he's extremely clean. I also really like the choice of red that they use for the eyes and the mouth. It's a nice dark red. Also, that's something else I didn't notice until right now. I like the undersides of his soles. And there's the peg holes, which would explain why the pegs are a little thinner than what I've seen before with Marvel Select figures. But I like even around the peg holes. They could have easily just given us a peg hole. I mean, no one's really going to see the undersides of his boots. But I guess his shoes, because he would be a robot. But I like the fact that there's detailing around that peg hole. And in the way of his articulation, Ultron actually has quite a bit. He has rotation in the head and up and down via a ball joint. Actually, it looks like a hinged joint head. It moves up and down, of course, left and right. His shoulders are also on a pin and socket, so they move out, rotate back and forth. He has a rotation in the bicep, a bend, which bend at the elbow, right there. He has also a rotation in the arm, which I think, there we go, just got a little stiff there. Rotation in the arm. He has a rotation in the hand. He has a really nice, and this is one thing that I thought they did a good job on, he has a really nice ball joint in the upper torso. So, I mean, if you have him posed alongside one of the Avengers, you can kind of have him tipped back as if he had just gotten shot or hit by something. Or, remarkably, it's just by tipping the head forward, you can kind of have this real commanding presence of the figure. Even something like that would look really neat. He does he have a swivel in the waist? Doesn't look like he has a swivel in the waist, but understandably so for the fact that the ball joint does a lot of the work for the figure itself. I can understand why that would not be there. The legs go forward, back, out via a hinge as well. Rotation in the thigh. He has a double bend in the knee. Double bend right there, as you can see. And finally a hinge and rotation in the foot. So, really nice work. I'm very happy with this figure. And that's actually a good look for him too. We'll just see if I can get him on his display base. Like so. There we go. That's a really nice look for the figure. Again, with the big news of him being the baddie in the sequel of Avengers, Spot was really looking forward to getting Ultron here. And I gotta admit, I'm really happy with how he turned out. One, again, really interesting points to make. I like the fact that he has a really nice retro look to him. He's not super advanced. For me, this personifies what I remember Ultron being in the comics as a kid. If I can give Ultron a rating, I'm going to give him an 8.5. He does things very, very well. He's very well sculpted, very well painted, and I also really dig the display base. So I think they did a really good job. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Ultron. A really, really nice figure. Makes me definitely think I need to get more Avengers Marvel Select figures, and I can pose them along with Ultron. But certainly stick around though, guys. Spot's got more Toy Spots heading your way. See you guys next time.